You are driving, your hands turn the wheel, your eyes scan the road, your foot presses the pedal, you change lanes, you signal, you stop at red, you move at green. The body performs every gesture correctly. Cars pass, lights blur, the city flows around you like a river. And then after 20 minutes, you suddenly notice you remember nothing. You do not remember the feel of your hands on the wheel. You do not remember a single breath. You do not remember the weight of your body in the seat, the tension in your jaw, the small movements of your eyes. You were there, but you were not. Something drove, something looked, something reacted, but you were absent. Your body was present, you were not. This is your life. Do not flatter yourself. Do not protest. I have watched you longer than you have watched yourself. I have seen you eat without tasting, speak without hearing, agree without understanding, and suffer without knowing why. You have called this living. It is not living, it is sleep. You believe you are awake because your eyes are open, because you can count money, answer messages, and remember your name. But a machine can do these things more precisely than you. The fact that you can function does not mean you are conscious. A watch functions, a phone functions, a programmed sequence runs smoothly. You confuse efficiency with awareness. You move through your days in chains of reactions. Something appears on the screen, you scroll. A message arrives, you answer. A memory arises, you sink into it. A fear appears, you obey it. You live as if in a trance, convinced you are free while your reactions decide for you. You call this my life, my character. This is just who I am. I call it mechanical. Look honestly at a single day. Not as you remember it now, but as it is. From the moment you wake, you are pulled. You reach for your device before you reach for your cell. F, you feed your mind with noise before you recall that you exist. You are guided by moods you did not choose, impulses you did not see arise, and thoughts that run like stray dogs through your head. Notice how often you forget yourself. You are eating and your hand moves to your mouth while your mind is somewhere else. You are speaking and halfway through the sentence you are gone, captured by the impression of your own voice, imagining how you appear to the other. You are working, but you are not there. Only thoughts, worries, plans, and fantasies. The body stays, the voice continues, but you vanish 1,000 times a day. If I ask you now, where were you the last 3 hours? You will give me a story. You will reconstruct events. But reconstruction is not remembering. You confuse the story you invent with the fact of being present. You remember content, but not consciousness. You remember what you did, but not that you were. This is the central fact. You are absent from your own life. You are not what you think you are. You imagine there is a solid I in you, a steady someone who wants, decides, and acts. This is your central illusion. The I you defend is a mask assembled from fragments, your parents' voices, your culture's demands, your fears, your small ambitions, the impressions of others reacting to you. It is a costume stitched from borrowed cloth. This false personality protects you from truth. It gives you a ready-made answer to who am I, and so prevents you from feeling the terror and the possibility of not knowing. It whispers, you are this type of person. You are good or bad or broken or special. You already know yourself. And so you stop looking, you stop questioning, you give your life to a lie because it is familiar. This mask is not passive. It actively resists awakening. It is a defense system. Whenever something threatens its image, it reacts. You feel offended, humiliated, misunderstood. You rush to explain yourself, to justify, to blame. You do not see that this is the mask defending itself. You take its panic as your own. You say, this is me hurt, me angry, me ashamed. It is not you. It is the costume screaming because light is entering the room. Inside this costume, there is no single master. There is no unified self. You are a crowd. One moment you say, I will change my life. I will wake early. I will work. I will stop wasting time. This I is sincere in that moment. It believes its vow. You even feel emotional about it. You write plans, make lists. Hours later, another I appears. It says, I am tired. I deserve rest. Just a little more comfort. I will start tomorrow. This I also speaks as if it is the same I who made the vow, but it is not. It has different tastes, different values, different strength. Between these two, a third I appears. I am a failure. I never keep my word. Something is wrong with me. This one is neither the one who made the vow nor the one who broke it. It is a commentator feeding on the conflict. You see only the surface, a vague sense of being the same person moving through these moods. Inside it is a marketplace of impulses, fears, desires, and borrowed voices, each shouting I as it takes control for a brief moment. Your life is a sequence of these small rulers taking the throne and then disappearing. You call this myself. You are not one. You are many. Because you are many, you are weak. Because you are many, you can be manipulated easily. A word, a look, a message, a memory can call forth an I that derails your entire day. Perhaps you see an image of someone more successful. Immediately an I of envy arises. It speaks, acts, consumes time and energy. Later another I of guilt appears, judging this envy. Still later a numb I says it doesn't matter. Tell me, where are you in all this? Who is the master? No one. This is why you break promises to yourself. This is why you do what you say you do not want to do. This is why you sabotage your own goals. There is no unified I to remember, to persist, to endure. There are only transient I's arising and vanishing. Until this fact is seen deeply, you remain a puppet whose strings are pulled by inner multiplicity and outer impressions. You imagine your thinking is the highest part of you. It is not. It is only one center among three. In you, there is an intellectual center, the part that thinks, analyzes, compares, explains. This is what you usually call mind. There is an emotional center, the part that feels, reacts with attraction or repulsion, loves, hates, fears, grieves, hopes. There is a moving instinctive center, the part that manages the body, habits, posture, gestures, breathing patterns, automatic skills, and instinctive responses. These centers are meant to work in harmony, each serving the others. Thought should be connected to feeling and grounded in the body. Feeling should refine thought and inform action. The body should faithfully carry out what the higher centers decide while providing sensations as real data. In you, these centers are in chaos. One dominates, the others are neglected. Some of you live entirely in your head. You think about everything and experience almost nothing. You analyze your life, your relationships, your past, your future, but your body is numb and your emotions are shallow or uncontrolled. You mistake constant internal chatter for consciousness. It is not consciousness, it is noise. Others live in their feelings. Every passing emotion is taken as truth. If you feel afraid, then danger must be real. If you feel unworthy, then you must be worthless. If you feel enthusiasm, you make promises you cannot keep. You do not see that feelings change rapidly and are often responses to illusions. You let them dictate your actions, and they misuse the body and the mind. Still others live in the moving instinctive center. You are driven by physical habits, pleasures, discomforts. You endure routines without reflection, work without inner participation, seek pleasure as the highest aim. The body runs your life and the mind justifies whatever the body decides. This imbalance produces suffering. When your centers are not aligned, you are torn. The mind wants one thing, the feelings resist, the body refuses. You experience this as inner friction, self-hatred, confusion. You blame yourself, your past, others, or fate, but you never see the simple structural fact. You are not integrated. Listen carefully. Your problem is not that you are weak or broken or cursed. Your problem is that you are asleep and divided. The remedy is not sentimental comfort. The remedy is understanding and work. You imagine that spiritual life is somewhere far away in monasteries, on mountaintops, in special ceremonies. You imagine it as a separate activity, something you might begin one day when your life is less busy, when your problems are solved, when your schedule clears. This is another lie that keeps you asleep. Your life, exactly as it is now, is the only place where real work can be done. There is no other laboratory, no other field of practice. The office, the factory, the store, the home, the traffic, the solitude at night when you cannot sleep, the argument with your partner, the boredom of waiting in line. All of these are material for awakening. You think the ordinary moments are obstacles to your spiritual life. They are not obstacles, they are the path. Each small irritation, each small pleasure, each small fear is a place where you can either remain mechanical or you can begin to see. What must you do? First, you must observe. You know how to watch a screen. You do not know how to watch yourself. I am not speaking of judging yourself. Judging is easy and useless. You already judge yourself endlessly. I am good, I am bad, I am better, I am worse, I am a victim, I am guilty. None of this is observation. It is just the emotional center misusing words. Observation is something different. It is the simple, exact seeing of what is without adding explanations or excuses. I ask you to spend a single day as an experiment, not forever, just a day. From the moment you wake, you will attempt to remember that you are watching a creature, this creature you call I. You will see how it gets out of bed. Is there reluctance? Is there heaviness? Is there rushing? You will see what it reaches for first. Does the hand go for the phone before it has even felt the body? Does thought begin running before breath is noticed? You will watch it in the bathroom, at breakfast, at work. You will notice its posture, its tone of voice, its little gestures. You will observe how often the mouth opens to speak without the mind being present. You will observe how often it smiles without feeling or frowns without understanding why. Whenever you remember, you will silently say inside, I am observing this machine. You will not try to change it yet. Already that is too much. Do not pretend. You cannot change what you do not know. For now, simply see. You will notice thoughts. Instead of saying, I think, you will notice there is a thought of resentment. There is a thought of comparison. There is a thought of fear. You will notice feelings. A wave of anger appears. A sadness arises. A small joy passes through. You will notice bodily sensations. Tightness in the chest, contraction in the jaw, restlessness in the legs. This is the beginning of an inner separation. The observer appears. For a brief moment, the crowd of eyes is seen. This is not imagination. It is a small emergence of a different quality of awareness. Do not expect comfort from this. The first result of seeing is disgust. When you truly observe, you will not like what you see. You will witness the automatic lies, the unnecessary words, the petty envies, the rehearsed grievances, the wasted hours. You have two choices then: retreat into self-pity or accept that this is what you are in your current state. If you choose self-pity, the work ends there. If you choose acceptance, something else becomes possible. Observation alone is not enough. There must be a certain remembering. Ordinarily, when you look at something outside, a face, a screen, a task, you disappear into it. Your attention moves outward and you are lost in the object. When you observe yourself, you often do the opposite. You contract inward, ignoring the world, absorbed in your inner state. Self-remembering is different. It is the simultaneous awareness of yourself and the situation. It is the sense, I am here and the world is here. Try this now, even as you listen. Feel the weight of your body wherever you are. Notice the contact points, feet on the ground, back on the chair, hands touching something. Sense the breath going in and out without changing it. At the same time, include the sounds around you, the light in the room, the awareness of the screen or device through which you hear my words. And then, in the middle of this, quietly affirm inside, I am here. Not as a thought only, but as a fact you taste. For a second, there is a small shock. You realize that until this moment, the day has been moving without anyone truly present. Now something in you stands in the middle. The centers begin to align around this awareness. This is a glimpse of self-remembering. It is not dramatic. There are no fireworks. In fact, if you tell yourself stories about how mystical it is, you will lose it. It is simple, sober, precise. You are both subject and object, the one who sees and what is seen. The world does not vanish. It becomes more real. You do not float away. You arrive. Understand the usual state in which you live, scattered, distracted, identified with passing eyes, is a kind of waking sleep. Self-remembering is a brief awakening within that sleep. The aim of real inner work is to prolong these moments, to deepen them, to allow them to reshape your entire way of being. But this does not happen by waiting or wishing. It requires effort, a kind of effort you are not used to making. You know how to make effort externally, to push the body when it is tired, to force the mind to finish a task, to suppress a reaction for the sake of politeness. This is mechanical effort. It does not change your inner level. It may build skills, but it does not build being. The effort I speak of is conscious. It is made in the moment against the automatic tendencies of your machine. It is experienced as a kind of friction between what I wish to do and what the mechanism wants to do. This friction, if borne rightly, is intentional suffering. Do not misunderstand this phrase. It is not self-harm, not self-torture. It is the intentional acceptance of discomfort in service of awakening. Consider a small example. You are irritated. Someone has spoken to you in a tone that your false personality cannot bear. Automatically, an I arises that wants to respond sharply, to defend, to punish. The body tightens, words gather in the mouth. At that moment, you have a choice. You can follow the habit, release the words, feel the temporary satisfaction of retaliation, and then live with the consequences, the strain in the relationship, the inner justification, the later guilt. You know this pattern well, or you can use this as material. You can observe, I see the irritation, I feel the fire in the chest, I hear the thoughts organizing. You can remain silent for a moment, not because you are weak, but because you are working. You endure the discomfort of not expressing the reaction. You breathe, sense your body, remember, I am here, and then speak more deliberately or not at all. The unpleasant sensation you feel in that moment, the restless pressure, the burning in the throat, the urge to do something, is the taste of intentional suffering. You are refusing to feed a habitual I with its usual satisfaction. You are burning fuel in a different fire. This kind of effort, repeated in many situations, begins to weaken the old patterns and strengthen something new inside. Without it, all talk of transformation is fantasy. There are many ways to create small shocks to your sleep. One simple method is the deliberate stop. Several times a day, set a reminder or associate a certain cue, a sound, a color, a place, with the instruction, stop. When the cue appears, you freeze for a few seconds. You do not make any external movement if possible. Internally, you gather your attention. You feel your body from head to foot. You notice what thought was running just then, what feeling was present, what posture the body was in. You include the room, the people around you, the task at hand. And again, you affirm, I am here. Then you continue. Done sincerely, this simple act is like a blade cutting into the cloth of your day. You begin to see how deeply you were lost just a moment before. You begin to see how your body was acting without any witness. These stops are small awakenings. Each one is a reminder that you have a possibility beyond mechanical life. Do not imagine that these efforts concern only your personal peace or happiness. You are not that important, and yet you are more important than you realize. You are part of a larger drama. You believe your thoughts and emotions belong only to you. They do not. They are part of a stream of forces flowing through humanity. Your mechanical suffering, your resentments, your fears, your compulsive cravings feed something beyond your comprehension. In your sleep, you serve powers you do not see. As fuel, as material, you have noticed how moods spread in a group, how panic or excitement or hatred passes from one to another like fire from wick to wick. This is not accidental. Human sleep is a resource in a larger economy of energies. You are being used. In your current state, you cannot understand the full structure of this drama. Your mind would only distort it into superstition, fantasy, or paranoia. But you can sense even now that your states matter beyond your small concerns. When you indulge in negativity, when you surrender entirely to mechanical reactions, you participate in a widening of darkness. When you struggle to be conscious, when you bear unpleasant manifestations, when you remember yourself, you introduce a different quality of energy into the world. Conscious effort has value, not only for you, but for the balance of forces on a scale you cannot yet see. A single moment of genuine presence, a single act of conscious refusal to obey a destructive impulse weighs more than all your half-hearted daydreams of goodness. If this is true, and I tell you it is, then your awakening is not a private hobby, it is a responsibility. Beneath your false personality, beneath the crowd of eyes, beneath the chaotic centers, there is a possibility of a different I, a higher center of consciousness. It is not given, ready-made. It must be grown. It must be crystallized through repeated acts of attention, sincerity, and conscious effort. At present, what you call I is like water poured into different containers, taking their shape. In one situation, you are kind, in another cruel. In one moment, you are generous, in another miserly. Each time you say I, as if it were the same I. This is not true. There is no stable owner of your life. The real I is not just another fragment. It is a central presence that can remember itself, direct the centers, and remain unchanged amid changing circumstances. It is not a rigid personality, but a stable awareness. It does not appear by wishing. It appears when enough material, enough impressions, enough conscious suffering, enough impartial observation has been accumulated and organized. This work is methodical, not romantic. It is not about feeling spiritual. It is about slowly building a new structure inside you, a place from which you can truly live. What is required? First, a ruthless honesty with yourself. You must stop telling yourself stories. You must stop defending your image at every cost. When you see fear, call it fear. When you see laziness, call it laziness. When you see vanity, call it vanity. Not to condemn yourself, but to see clearly what is there. Self-deception is the greatest enemy. Second, consistent observation. Not once in a crisis, not once after a dramatic moment, but day after day in small, neutral situations. Watch how you drink water. Watch how you open a door. Watch how you respond to a minor inconvenience. These micro moments reveal your real level more than grand declarations. Third, conscious shocks. Intentional interruptions. The stops I mentioned are one form. Another is to deliberately go against a small habit, to eat slower than your impulse demands, to listen while another speaks without forming your reply, to walk without rushing, to work without adding internal complaints. In each case, you feel the resistance. That resistance is the place where a new will can be born. Fourth, remembrance. As often as you can, especially in changing situations, entering a room, answering a call, starting a task, pause internally and recall, I am here. Feel your body, your breath, your surroundings. Let this simple fact anchor you. Without this, observation becomes cold and disconnected. With it, observation becomes alive. Understand that you will fail constantly. You will forget yourself within seconds. You will plan to remember and then discover hours have passed in a blur. Do not be discouraged. Each time you realize you have been absent, that realization is already a small awakening. A sleeping man cannot know he slept. Only someone partially awake can look back and say, I was absent. The work is not about perfection. It is about increasing the frequency and depth of these awakenings. Now I will speak to you directly. You have heard these words. You cannot unhear them. Something in you recognizes their truth, even if another part resists, argues, or dismisses. That part which recognizes, that quiet observer who nods inside, who feels both exposed and relieved, is the seed of the real I. I am speaking to that part. You stand at a narrow doorway. On one side is your current life, familiar, comfortable in its discomfort, full of routines, reactions, and half-conscious pleasures. You know its taste, you know its disappointments, you know the dull ache that follows every mechanical day. On the other side is a path you cannot yet see, only sense. It is not glamorous. It promises no instant enlightenment, no guaranteed success, no applause. It promises work, friction, intentional suffering, and a slow, steady increase of inner light. I do not convince, I do not persuade. I simply place before you the fact, if you continue as you are, you will reach the end of your life having never truly been here. You will have lived as a sophisticated machine, efficient perhaps, praised perhaps, comfortable at moments but absent. You will have allowed the unique possibility of this human birth to pass unused. If you begin to work, you will suffer in a different way. You will feel the pain of seeing your own sleep, the humiliation of recognizing your lies, the effort of going against yourself. But this suffering will be meaningful. It will be fuel. It will build something that cannot be taken from you by time, illness, or circumstance. So I give you now not an inspiring slogan, but 2 precise tasks. First task, for the next 7 days, each time you pass through a doorway, any doorway, your home, your workplace, the store, the bathroom, use it as a signal. As you pass, remember yourself. Feel your body, sense your breath, notice where you are, and silently affirm, I am here. Do not strain, do not dramatize. Just use each doorway as a reminder to. You can either enter mechanically or enter present. Second task, choose one small recurring habit. For example, how you eat, how you check your phone, how you speak in the first minute of a conversation. And for these 7 days, observe it relentlessly. Do not change it at first. Just see it each time as if watching an animal from a distance. After a few days of seeing, begin to introduce a small conscious change. Eat slower, delay checking, pause before speaking. Notice the resistance, the inner protest. Bear it consciously. If you do only these 2 tasks sincerely, without pretending, something will begin to shift. Not because they are magical practices, but because you will have introduced 2 forces into your life that were absent before: deliberate remembrance and intentional friction. Do not tell others about this work. Do not display it. Do not seek admiration for it. That would only feed false personality. Let this be between you and the quiet watcher inside. If you refuse, if you decide that this is too severe, too demanding, or too inconvenient, then at least be honest with yourself. Admit that you choose sleep. Admit that you prefer to be carried by the current of your habits. Do not decorate it with noble excuses. Say simply, I choose to remain mechanical. But if something in you cannot accept that, if something in you feels the weight of these words and the possibility they open, then begin now. Not tomorrow, not when life is calmer, not when you feel ready. You will never feel ready. Readiness is born in the act itself. I will not comfort you. I will not tell you that everything will be easy or that the universe will immediately reward you. The universe owes you nothing. But it offers you one thing, the chance to awaken from waking sleep, to become a self-remembering man, a being who is present to his own existence. This chance is rare. Most never hear of it. Many hear and immediately forget. A few hear, remember, and begin. Which are you? In this very moment, as you breathe, as your eyes move, as your thoughts flicker, you have the possibility to say quietly inside, with sincerity and without drama, I am here, I am watching, I will not go back to complete sleep willingly. If these words are real for you, even for a breath, then the doctrine is no longer lost. It has found a place in you. The rest depends on whether you will honor this moment or discard it. I have spoken. Now you must decide whether these words become another passing impression in the stream of your sleep or the first conscious shock that begins to tear the fabric of your mechanical life. Remember yourself.